you guys, coming up on today's show.
That they use to sacrifice them to is Moloch or Molech. Same seamless stream. So the question comes in relation.
Religious faiths. Now this is a beautifully constructed building, and it's at the point of what looks to be a phoenix.
Take this piece off here, and put it over here. And now you see, the United States is no longer in the middle of the map.
Right.
Jeffrey Epstein said in a leaked email he represents the Rothschilds. Rothschilds means red shield, and they represented the Red Cross since its
It's close to waking up, close to remembering what we once knew.
It's an area, and they had this meeting in 2017, a homelessness.
Our dad, he forces me.
Son, it is God's throne room. If you're new here, I have a ton.
Is to have the consistency of young human flesh.
It's spongy, it has life to it.
You were
concerned about certain narratives. They get involved with like World War film.
It looks like you're in a studio, maybe in Omaha, Nebraska.
They sedated you.
Yes.
Yeah. What was the thought process behind it?
Okay, here's another conspiracy theory. You've seen all the grainy footage of nuclear test blasts that the mushroom clouds, and there are always these grainy things, and there's all these like little houses lined up and little trees lined up, and it blows everything down. Yeah. Okay, so here's the question, right? So what happened? Okay, so this is great. Okay, you'll love this. So what happened to the camera?
All right, you guys, on today's show, news to know.
The camera's like
let's get.
And by the way, the film is fine.
Into it.
The radiation didn't cause any damage to the film.
Oh my God.
They worshipped a deity called Moloch or Molech. It was a deity that was an aspect of Nimrod, who keeps coming up everywhere, of course. And what they used to do is sacrifice children to Moloch or Molech. They put them through the fire. And in the Old Testament, you see prophets condemning the people for putting their children through the fire to Moloch or Molech. When I've talked to contacts, therapists and what have you around the world who work with satanically abused people, what those people tell them is that, again, when they're sacrificing children, the deity in the modern world today that they use to sacrifice them to is Moloch or Molech. Same seamless stream. So the question comes in relation to this: how do they symbolize Moloch or Molech, this deity to which they sacrifice children? They do it, symbolize him as an owl.
I don't know why you do that, and I don't know why anybody would do anything like that ever. Something that confuses me, something that I just can't wrap my head around, is I gotta be careful when I say this, all practices of faith all lead back to a ultimate sacker of young red liquid to the higher ups. But no one ever talks about the higher ups. They just talk about pleasing it by taking a ute and saccering it. I can't follow the concept in that, but I can follow the concept in a lot of things. Let's get back to it.
Piece off here, and put it over here. And now you see, the United States is no longer in the middle of the map.
Right.
Now wait a minute, what'd she say?
Take this piece off here, and put it over here. And now you see, the United States is no longer in the middle of the map.
Right.
Now, I did this with a major record company in New York City, I think in 1970. And an older man stood up in the back of the room and said, "Now, Elliot, you've gone too far." I said, "What's your problem?" "You can't do that with the map." I said, "Well, actually you can." He said, "No, the United States isn't in the middle of the map anymore." I said, "The United States never was in the middle of the map. You need to realize it depends on how you draw your map." And then I pointed this little fact out to him. South America is actually 9 times larger than Greenland.
Even though it doesn't really look like it.
No, it is! South America is actually 9 times larger than Greenland.
It's crazy.
Now, according to your social studies teachers, what is the equator? Halfway between the North Pole and the South Pole on this map would be right about here.
Right.
And that means that Iowa has a semi-tropical climate. Well, you've been in Minnesota in the wintertime.
I've been in Iowa too. It's definitely
you know that it doesn't have a tropical climate. So you have to then introduce a real version of the map of the world. That's what this is doing.
That's very good.
The Peters projection map. The sizes on this map are right. The shapes are distorted.
Wow.
Look at Greenland on this map. Right there. See it?
Yeah, it's really tiny.
See how small that is?
Right.
Look at it on the Mercator projection.
So why do they do that? I don't understand.
Why? Because the Pope commissioned Mercator to make a map that shows the spread of Christianity. So all the countries in which there are predominantly white people are larger than those in the southern part of the world, halfway between the North Pole and South Pole. Now, if you have children going to school and they're seeing this map,
it's amazing what they do. What they teach you is what you know.
I hope everybody knows by now that the fallen angels run our world. The earth is Satan's domain, and his fallen angels are at the top of the pyramid, if you will. Now, the book of Enoch, chapter 6, tells us that there were 200 of the leaders of these fallen angels. They met on Mount Hermon and they signed an agreement. At the very top of Mount Hermon, there's a building that says UN on the roof, but that's not for this video. Today, we're going to talk about the Palace of Peace and Reconciliation. This is located in Kazakhstan, and it is to represent all of the world's religious faiths. Now, this is a beautifully constructed building, and it's at the point of what looks to be a phoenix. Here's an aerial view. Everything in this city is futuristic. It's all kind of like symbolic looking. Across from it is the presidential palace, and there's more kind of like symbolic stuff. I can't say what that looks like, but it's all very futuristic. What's interesting is at the very top of the Palace of Peace and Reconciliation is a boardroom that has, guess how many seats? 200 seats. Could this be where the leaders of our world meet? Here's the inside of it. It is really odd to me. If you really sit back and think about, you know, the fact that Satan does run our world, and it's real that fallen angels run our world. I mean, it is a real thing that demons take physical form and rule our world, and to be looking at, you know, a place where they might all sit and meet, it is kind of creepy. It's beautiful though. Satan disguises himself as an angel of light.
I don't know what Satan's disguised himself with, but I ain't trying to have nothing to do with it myself. That's just how I feel. Next clip.
They survived the war, so they crashed the economy. The Great Depression started in 1929. They told you it was a stock market failure. But here's what doesn't add up. The crash wiped out ordinary people. Savings gone, homes foreclosed, 13 million unemployed, families starving. But the wealthy, they bought everything at pennies on the dollar. The biggest wealth transfer in American history. The timing? 11 years after World War I ended. The survivors who made it through the war, now broken economically, and the government, they let it happen. Herbert Hoover told people to wait it out. No relief, just suffering. Who benefited? Banks foreclosed on millions of properties. Corporations. The wealthy consolidated power while everyone else lost everything. This wasn't a market failure. It was engineered collapse. They couldn't eliminate everyone through war, so they destroyed them economically, took their homes, their savings, their hope. And when people were desperate enough, that's when they introduced the system that would control them forever. Wars erase people. Depressions erase wealth. Both serve the same purpose. Drop your thoughts below. Follow if you see how they break you before they control you.
That's the problem. Is nobody's really seeing it. Nobody's really paying attention. You got to work really hard to open your eyes up to see. I try to talk to people, but they don't want to listen. But you got to keep doing it. Persevere. Push through. People will get it. If they don't get it, they're going to have it gave to them. You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. All right, let's get back to the next clip. Oh, yeah. This is the new Epstein video that's come out. Everybody's playing this. So I'm going to go ahead and do it too. Here we go, you guys. Here we go. AI Epstein. Let's do it. This guy, old Nickelodeon. This is perfect. If you know, you know. That's right. See Jay-Z back there? They've got them all, you guys. That guy's always on top of it first. Mr. TMZ. Oh, and this guy, the Gate of Bill. For entertainment purposes only, he likes to eat them too. You know what I mean? Yeah, those two, there they are. She would actually tell youths that were about to pass that the pain that they were feeling brought them closer to the Lord. That's what Mother Teresa actually said, not for entertainment purposes, for fact. Everywhere, all the time. Yeah. You literally would spend days trying to figure out each one of these people and what the symbolism is right here in the back. I mean, everything. It's got everything. There he is, you guys. How far down the rabbit hole do you want to go? Well, I think you know this guy right here. Everywhere. Look how tall Biden is. You see that? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I don't know what happened to the music. Did I mute it? Did I do something? Or is that just how it is? All right. That's just how it is. It's cool. They've got everything. Certainly got to bring out the Diet Coke Trumpster. Always. All these guys are in it together. And Moloch the Owl up top. We got Netanyahu coming out to New York right here. And the moon that they hung. And the Cybertruck there in the back. Oh, man. It's always having you guys right in front of your face. Don't you forget to pay attention. Remember to forget and forget to remember.
Epstein said in a leaked email he represents the Rothschilds. Rothschilds means Red Shield, and they represented the Red Cross since its inception. They've been funding it. Why have they been funding the Red Cross to help survivors of war whenever they fund both sides of every single war in history? It's a human trafficking operation. That's what it is. The Red Cross reported over 200
for entertainment purposes only,
people, which marks a 70% increase in the last 5 years. And in the Iraq War, anywhere from 250,000 to 1 million people went missing. You can blame that on war, but I don't think that's war. I don't think that many people go missing just because you can't find their remains. I don't think that happens that much. In northern Nigeria, children make up like 40% of the population, but they're like 75% of the missing cases that are reported. So why do you see this discrepancy in everywhere that America and the Red Cross are fiddling around? Why do you keep seeing that? You keep seeing it because it's a human trafficking ploy ran by the Rothschilds. The worst part of all of this is you have good American people who are sending their money to this organization thinking that it's going to help children or survivors of war, and in reality they're probably just using this money to fund all the bullshit that they do. Because think about it, how do these people control the world the way that they do? They need money, so they have to be running some sort of operation where they're constantly racking in money. We literally had like what, $3 trillion go missing on the day of 2001 or I mean on September 11th when those attacks happened. Why do you think all of this stuff happens? They're constantly like doing these little loopholes to fund whatever they're doing or whatever island they're on. I don't even think this whole Epstein shit is about Epstein. I think it's much deeper than that. And what I mean by that, I will explain this because I think it's important. What I mean by that is I think they're using this Epstein and all these celebrities who have been there, they've definitely been there, right? But they're using this entire situation to focus the public's attention, because if you're focusing on this one thing, they're taking the attention away from all the fucking other islands that there are, because I guarantee you there's a shitload. There's more than Epstein, okay? You heard them. Epstein was a representative of the Rothschilds. They just picked a new one. Why do you think they killed him? It was probably them.
Okay, first of all, for entertainment purposes only, I don't think
that in a leaked email he represents the Rothschilds.
For entertainment purposes only, I don't think that Jeffrey Epstein's dead. I think he made a clone of himself. So the guy was too into genetics. He had all the top scientists there. He had Mr. Stephen Hawkins there. He had multiple people, the Gates of Bill, plenty of people there. This guy was into cloning, whether you want to understand it, whether you want to agree. And like this guy said, I'm sure there's more islands. Oh, there's more islands. You've got ours, the Wall, other places, Nibiru, Anu, Pleiades. These are all different bubbles out there on a planet or a body of land and water and ice and people and strangers and friends. Who do you know? And what do they know? Pay attention to the signs and the symbols around you, people. Antarctica, that wall or that piece of land, however you want to look at it, it's the only place on the whole planet right now that every country agrees on one thing, and that's that you can't go there. That's right. Don't even try it. Next clip.
How many times do you think they've actually reset society? That question sounds crazy until you start seeing the pattern they keep trying to hide. Klaus Schwab was already talking about a great reset right before 2020. Then suddenly the whole world gets shoved into a new normal. And if you zoom out a little, you start noticing something uncomfortable. This isn't the first time a reset has been pushed. Look at history. We lost Egypt's advanced knowledge. We lost the Library of Alexandria. We lost whole civilizations like Tartaria, just wiped from the record like they never existed. Every time humanity gets close to waking up, close to remembering what we once knew, something happens, and the slate gets wiped clean. No memories, no context, no explanation. That's why people call us a species with amnesia. We're here, but we have no idea how we got here or what came before us, because someone keeps hitting the reset button. And here's the strange part. 2020 wasn't just a reset attempt, it was also a wake-up call. If life hadn't been disrupted, a lot of people who were completely asleep would have stayed asleep forever. Humans run on routine. As long as the routine feels safe, we don't question anything. But when they try to force massive change, they risk waking people up, which is exactly what happened. And now they're trying to shove everyone back into a comfortable fog, redefining normal, flipping reality upside down, making you beg for stability, and using that desperation to settle you back into silence. So, here's the real question for you. If this pattern keeps repeating, if history keeps getting erased, rewritten, and replaced, how many resets do you think we've actually lived through? And how many more do you think they're planning?
This is just a theory, not a fact.
You ain't lived through none of them. Ever. I think every time they reset things, a whole new population comes. Around 5,000 years. I'm working on a video right now where a lot of information has come out. They won't let it on YouTube. They don't want it on TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, your mama's pocketbook. A lot of places they don't want things, but there's a reality out there. And it's more than just worrying about whether the pipes are busted in your house. It's more than just worrying about a job that you got to get. It's more than worrying about what you need to worry about. Hug your mama. Hug your children. And keep them out of the aisles in the grocery store when I'm trying to shop. Next clip.
Here's what's at the bottom of the Epstein rabbit hole.
Congratulations, you've made it to the bottom of the Epstein rabbit hole. Pay close attention. Jeffrey Epstein was on the board of directors for an organization called the Lifeboat Foundation. He was also on the board of directors for an organization called Teachers in Space. Look them both up. They actually exist. They have websites. They don't even try to hide what they're doing. The Lifeboat Foundation builds giant underground cities, okay? They openly advertise it, and for a fee and with an application letter, they might accept you to join their little society where they apparently have whole cities underground. They also advertise people would take their clients off-world in the event of a catastrophe. And it's really interesting because Teachers in Space also talks about taking payloads off-world, which is all really weird, right? It gets even more interesting. You see, Donald Barr was the one who inducted Jeffrey Epstein with zero experience into the Dalton Institute, where he was a teacher. Donald Barr wrote a really interesting book called Relations in Space about an aristocratic elite trafficking children into space. Are you following me here? What's even weirder is the district attorney that was supposed to prosecute Jeffrey Epstein and bring him to justice was literally William Barr, Donald Barr's son. Now, the Lifeboat Foundation is really interesting because in 1996, they pioneered wireless money transfers. They're the second organization in the world to ever do this. This is a decade or two before Bitcoin even was a concept, right? So you got an organization that is doing wireless money transfers that are untraceable, large sums of money, and they're building giant underground infrastructures. It gets even weirder. I found out through looking on archive.org that Lifeboat Foundation has a homeless youth outreach program. And they used to have a whole station in Rhinelander, Wisconsin, and a whole board of people. They're all out of the Rhinelander, Wisconsin area. And they had this meeting in 2017, a homelessness problem-solving meeting, right? So you have an organization that's interested in homeless youth, interested in wireless money transfers, and interested in underground infrastructure. I don't know if you guys heard about Sasha Riley, but he's telling the truth. He was trafficked by the Epstein elite. He was in snuff films that he survived, but he witnessed people get unalived. And what I'm telling you is it gets crazier. The reason why Epstein surrounded himself with a scientific elite is because he was doing human cloning and he was doing consciousness transferal and stuff like this. I swear to God, I know this gets crazy, but it's true. And what I'm telling you is he had celebrities down there. He had a cloning center down there. And I know because I was in some of these films. They're on the dark web. I'm in films on the dark web, okay? And what they're going to try to say is it's all AI because there's celebrities and stuff in it. It's not, all right? It's not AI.
Wow. I don't even know what to say about that, you guys. There's so many things.
At the bottom of the Epstein rabbit hole.
There's so many things right. There's so many things right in front of you. People refuse to look. People refuse to see it. Go ahead. Keep living your life blindly. Go about the job. Go about raising your children. Go about presents and gifts and cars and diamonds and all the things that mean something to you. But don't forget, when you put your kids to bed tonight, when you lay them down and say, now I'll lay me down to sleep, remember that there is some children out there that actually go through things that you would never even comprehend. And that's the problem. Don't turn your head to it. Get up. Stand up and fight. Not each other. Not the government that's running it. Just fight for the truth. Not with anger. Not with violence. With perseverance. Stand up. Refuse to be wasted. Because somewhere tonight, this is happening. Check this out.
Our dad, he forces me and Gabriel to do it. But because we can't, we're not strong enough to cut the baby's head off. He does us to hold the knife, and he puts his hand at the top of our hand, and he helps us to cut the baby's head off. Because he's learning, he's teaching me and Gabriel, so when we're older, to do it to our own children and do this kind of stuff to our own.
Where is it this that happens?
The church, the kitchen in our church.
The kitchen in the church.
Yes, they got.
So, right, this string. Tell me about this string.
So it's just like, it's not just a thin normal string. It's a bit thick. It's like maybe that thick.
Okay.
And they tie around.
Okay.
Like in a circle.
Right.
Hang it up on a.
Where do they tie it to on the baby?
So it's like on legs. So they put the legs together, tie it on, and so it's like one string around and then one string attached, and it's hanging upside down. They get the knife, but they don't just cut it off absolutely. It's still on. So they slide the head off, but it's still hanging on.
So okay.
Yes, and then there's a big white bowl on the floor, and the blood drips in, and then we pour it in a big silver goblet.
Okay, so where's this white bowl? Where did they get the white bowl from?
They bought the big white bowl.
From where?
From there's any shop, any white.
And where did they get the bowl? Where did they get the bowl from this time?
Any shop, any.
I can't believe that. It's out there, you guys. Somebody's dealing with that tonight.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think NASA is starting to soft launch the idea of the firmament to the public. You know, the firmament that the one true living God, Jesus Christ, made on the second day of creation. Yeah, that one.
Earth is like our bedroom, cozy and safe, but it's inside a much bigger house that helps make our planet habitable. That house is our heliosphere, a giant protective bubble created by the sun.
So we live in a heliosphere, almost like the biblical firmament, and it's created by the sun. I've been talking about this. Polaris is the true sun. It is God's throne room. If you're new here, I have a ton of videos on this. It's biblical, and it's an antique piece of knowledge that we have lost.
It stretches beyond the planets and forms a boundary that protects our solar system from deep space. So, what does this house look like? Well, we don't actually know. The heliosphere is so huge that we can't just step outside and take a photo of the whole thing.
Oh, is that why every image has to be created with CGI? Is that something like the Van Allen belt that we can't get through to go back to the moon?
NASA has found ways to map out its boundaries. First, 2 spacecraft have actually passed through its walls and sent back measurements from outside. Voyager 1 passed through in 2012, and Voyager 2 made its own crossing 6 years later. But they only found the boundary in 2 specific places, and it took more than 35 years of space travel to get there. Luckily, there are other ways to study the heliosphere from inside. NASA's IMAP will use a technique kind of like listening for echoes that bounce off of our heliosphere's exterior walls. Instead of sound waves, these echoes are particles that ricochet off of the heliosphere's edges.
If I had to guess, this is probably...
All right, you guys, that's the show. News to know. Thanks for tuning in. Leave me a comment down below. I'm going to be picking out comments, you guys. I want to know who's subscribing. I got 70. I'm on my way to 100. This is a slow roll. Conspiracies are not what they used to be. Not everybody likes to pay attention. Not everybody likes to know the truth. You ever try to tell somebody the truth about something they didn't want to hear? Oh, they'd like to shut you up from saying those kind of things. They don't want to hear you say those things. They tell you what you can talk about, what you can't talk about. But you got to remember, the truth's out there in front of you all the time, every day, everywhere you go. And if you decide not to look at it, you're the problem. And if your friends say that you're crazy because you're wanting to check out the hidden esoteric meaning in life, they're the problem. And don't forget, when you're trying to do something good, there's always going to be somebody there to try to bring you down. Take your life, bury you, put a tombstone on it, and step on your tombstone to get a little higher in life. The only thing that's gone, you guys, that have passed is the past. The past has passed. P-A-S-T has P-A-S-S. And that's all we got to say. Tune in next time when we be getting into more things that people talk about you behind closed doors about. Thanks for tuning in. News to know right here on Mr. X. We'll see you later. Whoosh.